Growing up, I always loved playing in the backyard, whether it was running through the sprinkler on a warm summer's day or enjoying a lovely evening dinner with my family. The backyard was always a place full of family, fun, and memories. Now, I'd like you to take a moment and imagine your own backyard. You may picture beautiful flowers, bushes and trees, a fence, and luscious green grass trimmed to perfection. The perfect weed-free lawn has become a symbol of achievement in our society for decades. It's something we often appreciate, aspire to, and even take pride in. But many people don't realize the negative impact that their picture-perfect yard might be having on the environment. So today, let's dive into the prompt, backyard conservation, don't water it down, by first looking at the consequences maintaining that perfect yard has on the environment, along with the abundant environmental benefits of a backyard, before finally introducing some practices that we can implement in our own backyards to contribute to conservation. First, looking at the consequences. You might not think your yard uses that much water to maintain. However, it might surprise you that according to the Environmental Protection Agency, or the EPA, nationwide landscape irrigation is estimated to account for nearly 1/3 of all residential water use. That's about 9 billion gallons of water per day. To put that into perspective, if you were to water an average-sized lawn in the US for 20 minutes every day for just 1 week, it would be equivalent to constantly running the shower for 4 days, or taking more than 800 showers. I think we can all agree that these statistics are very concerning. In a time of rapidly changing climates and extreme drought conditions in many areas of the US and the world, we must work together to protect and conserve our precious natural resources. It's a critical task, but one that many find to be overwhelming. So, where do we start? Well, I'm here to tell you that conservation begins in our own backyard, literally. Now, with that in mind, let's take a look at our backyard's benefits. The Natural Resources Conservation Service uses the term backyard conservation to refer to the conservation practices that can be implemented in the area around our homes. So despite the startling statistics I shared with you, when it comes to conservation, our backyards are not necessarily a bad thing. They actually have many benefits. A healthy and sustainable backyard helps to prevent soil erosion from wind and water. It allows water to infiltrate into the soil, break down organic chemicals, improve air quality, and provide wildlife habitat. So, unfortunately, a huge part of the problem is our own doing. The EPA estimates that as much as 50% of the water we use outdoors is wasted due to inefficient watering methods and systems. Some people mistakenly assume that their lawns require an abundance of irrigation because it's common to see lawns being watered excessively. Overwatering a yard not only uses significant amounts of water, it also produces significant amounts of runoff and contaminants. So, what can we do better? The simplest improvement efforts we can take are to ensure that our household irrigation systems are well maintained and programmed to water appropriately. In doing so, we can reduce water usage up to 15%. We can even plant native species and water-wise plants to conserve our natural resources while creating a beautiful landscape. Native species are better adapted to our regional climates, requiring less water and chemicals such as pesticides and fertilizers. Water-wise plants have lower supplemental watering needs and use water efficiently. This all helps to reduce the need for water and keep pesticides and fertilizers from polluting our local creeks and streams and harming our pollinators. Another effort we can take towards conservation is to ditch our grass lawns entirely. Most lawns only consist of about 2 grass species, creating a barren landscape for wildlife and a loss of biodiversity. Xeriscaping can be an effective way to conserve our resources while enhancing the biodiversity of our region. That might sound like a strange word. Xeriscaping is the practice of using slow-growing, drought-tolerant plants to reduce the amount of resources needed to maintain a yard and the amount of waste they produce. These are just small changes that can have a huge impact. So So in conclusion, we discussed the damages a backyard can have on the environment, along with the benefits of a backyard, before finally discussing some efforts we can take in our own backyards to help conserve our environment's resources. Our natural resources are precious and finite. We cannot overemphasize the importance of conservation. So the next time you turn that sprinkler on a hot afternoon, think about how that is impacting the environment, because it all begins with each of us doing our own part. Thank you.